Chapter 8. Karmic Knot. The strength of a family is measured by the number of righteous, renowned, joyful, healthy, strong, skilled, intelligent, overly meticulous, generous, and happy individuals. By counting how many of such people there are, one can understand who forms the family plan, who leads, who rules, who guides, and who gathers. For those who stand out, the count must be kept. When there are those who live in debauchery, promiscuity, stealing, bitterness, pride, irritability, arrogance, frequent quarrels, fights, slander, instability, unhappiness, gloom, and unfriendliness, one must track who passed on such qualities. When such a similarity is found, then, based on what the thread conveys, they organize a memorial service or commemoration, open windows, doors and, calling out to him, ask him to forgive who is to blame before him, to forgive those who gave him the thread, who pulled and stuck it to him, and ask that all the bad things that prevented him be taken away, and all the good things be passed on, and the best that he could present in the world, he bequeaths and passes on with strength, health, intelligence and compassion to this child. Not by shouting, but by persuasion. When he agrees, put the candle on the four ends and put the candle on the other corner, and, having baptized himself or whoever is tuning into prayer, turn to the one who is a saint of the family, and, remembering the name of his unlucky relative, ask to seal that agreement, and not to tear the thread handed over to the child, but to send them strength and blessing along it. When a saint of that lineage hears and accepts it, the child will not change their face, but the light itself will transform everything else within them. They will go into the world as an heir of good, not evil, and will receive the gifts that their predecessor did not. If the name of the relative is unknown, then send a call through the whole lineage, and whoever responds and names themselves will be the one. If the name is unknown, do not argue or ask again, perhaps that is how he wants to signify himself. Just send him a request to the name he himself gave, and ask everyone in turn who could do what, and then ask by name to do everything previously said. It's better to do it earlier, while the child's path is just taking shape, and while he is not yet aware of himself, and has not yet seen himself in a different light, and while that thread has not begun to break him. Because everything you see in your child is uneven or unclear, think about it and take action while them are still young. Also, take note of any child's whims and openly offer advice. The way adults explain those whims to a child determines how they understand their behavior in society. If a child exhibits a lot of anger, it means an evil spirit may be at work within them. If he is constantly noisy or exhibits strong disobedience, his karma is revealing itself. Do not allow the spirit or karmic knots to become intertwined in his path. Do not let him achieve his desires through scandals, nor allow him to vent his anger or assert himself with force, it will not help him. A righteous person should present themselves to the world with understanding, peace, and kindness. When a karmic knot begins to intertwine with the child's thread, it should be observed, and at prayer, the child's path should be symbolically cleansed by pouring wax. The wax reveals how this misalignment was acquired, sometimes through people, sometimes through circumstances. When a child falls or has many bruises, it is a sign that a karmic knot is working its way through them. When a child falls and gets hurt, it may be beneficial for their development and a blessing. Because he fell, the knot is not woven into thread and will not go further along it, because it gets knocked out, and when he gets seriously hurt, it is a loss for his health. To prevent the child from injuring themselves or falling, and to untangle the knot, gently lift and toss the child while saying, "Knot, knot, untangle, do not touch my daughter, do not touch my child, do not entangle this little one." No one needs to hear this decree, it should only be kept in mind for why these gentle actions are performed. When your husband refuses you and your child, draw a cross across your door and say, to the door, come, pigeon gray, fly. To the falcon dove, return to the maiden. When a mother raises a child alone, her fiery love rises within them, and wisdom carves its path in them. When a father raises a child alone, his strength rises within them, and understanding carves its path in them. When a grandmother raises a child alone, her strength rises within them, igniting compassion. When a grandfather raises a child alone, his strength rises within them, instilling respect. When a sister or brother raises a child alone, their strength rises within them, and their acceptance of suffering carves its path in them. When a woman from the family raises the child, if there is a lack of maternal affection, cruelty ascends in the child; when a man from the family, laziness. If a child is raised by both father and mother, but their relationship lacks harmony, greed carves its path within them, as they strive for balance but do not possess it. All of this must be understood and accepted. If a person grows up with only one caretaker or an unhealthy dynamic between two caretakers, then, in accepting their own path, they must accept themselves as they are, without blame or reproach, because they should not take on the faults of others. If doubts, memories, resentment, or anger torment him, he weaves all this into knots within himself. You should just spit, trample it, and not waste your righteous or unrighteous anger on empty feelings. No, this is not necessary. Do not grieve that you were not loved enough in childhood. Try to ensure that your couple loves you. Do not cling to your memories, and do not lead yourself into the sin of empty temptations, that which you could have had but didn't. Otherwise, you will pass all these tears on to your children. Free yourself from all knots and thank those who were kind and compassionate towards you, while to those who were unkind, say, there is no resentment, no anger, for we are all judged and evaluated by the judge. If a child grows up in an incomplete family, it means they are already on the path to maturity and must become a teacher to others. When the old ones, who left you, start to come back to you, your choice is to accept them and be their elder, or to reject them and leave your matter to God. When you find compassion, you rise up in your lineage, and for not seeking vengeance, not remembering grievances, and not completing punishment, your family untangles such knots and does not pass them further. By punishment, God does not judge you, for you have the right not to accept, and by doing no evil, you simply move on to another path. With those whom you did not want to accept, you will not meet them in the other world. When here you make a decision in another world not to meet the people who caused you childhood grievances, then at the judgment, you will be visible only to them, but they appear invisible to you.